just to give an example of what we mean by meaning in forms, spiritual meaning. What is spiritual meaning? The easiest example is that of the prayer rug. Now, prayer rugs usually have something like an arch drawn on them, which represents the mihrab or the prayer niche. You use your prayer rug usually at home, so that reminds you of the prayer niche, the direction of the Qibla in the mosque. And the Qibla is where you direct your face, your heart, towards Mecca. And it is the place where you listen to the Qur'an coming to you during the recitation. So that's what the prayer niche is about. So they draw an arch on the rug to represent the prayer niche. But what happens if you hang a lantern in there? You put a lamp in the prayer niche, and then immediately you have the verse of light. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. So the prayer rug has turned into a reminder of the verse of light. And then it becomes a stimulus for meditation on the verse of light. And that's what we mean when we say that there is meaning within the various decorations in Islamic civilizations as a whole, and in Islamic mosques in particular. So going from there, if you look, for instance, at the decorations, what they call arabesques in the mosques, arabesques are either vegetal motifs or else purely geometric motifs. The vegetal forms are never true to nature. They don't copy nature, they don't photograph nature. They're stylized. So they give you an impression of luxurious vegetation, but not the original that you see outside. It's something that is imaginary because it represents the vegetation of paradise. So it takes you to paradise in your imagination. Reminders of paradise are very frequent in Islamic architecture. They're actually very basic also, because Islamic architecture is designed primarily to remind of Allah and paradise. So, for instance, when you're about to enter a mosque, when you are about to enter a mosque, you want to go and meet Allah, you want to go and pray. So you leave the world behind you, you turn your back to the world, and you enter to the presence of Allah. Most often, in most mosques, you find that you enter through a big portal, sometimes really huge, that is like a barrier between the outside world and the presence of Allah. It makes you feel very small. You understand that you're entering a big presence and that you are in yourself insignificant. That's all in the immense portal you're going under. And then, more often than not, you would go through a dark tunnel that opens onto the courtyard, which is illuminated by the sun. So you walk in the dark for a while, and then all of a sudden everything is enlightened. And then in the middle of the courtyard, you find a fountain. The fountain is usually surmounted by a dome, which is carried on 8 pillars. Most of the time, anywhere in the Islamic world, you count the pillars, you find them 8. Now, as a Muslim, the number 8 tells me one of two things: either the 8 gates of paradise, or the 8 carriers of the throne. There are no other 8s. 4s, there are plenty of 4s. You know, everything is in 4s. But 8s, there are only these two things. So you have a fountain, around which are 8 pillars, and a dome. Domes are always known to represent the sky, and the sky represents the throne of Allah. So the dome represents the divine throne. The divine throne is known to be the ceiling of paradise. So that is an image of paradise. You're entering the mosque, you leave the world behind, you go to meet Allah, and Allah gives you the good news of paradise. You find a fountain that is the fountain of paradise. Around it are the 8 gates of paradise, and above it is the dome, which is the roof of paradise. That is a very living image of paradise. And once you are told about it, you are told this is an image, and then it becomes obvious. Why didn't I see it before? It is so obvious, the meaning is so clear. But here it is. It's an image of paradise. It's Allah giving you the good news that you've entered the mosque, you've come to the presence of Allah, receive the good news of paradise. And then another few steps into the mosque, you will find other kinds of decorations and other kinds of messages.